Good morning, guys. Sorry I am not with you this morning, but that shouldn't stop us from moving forward on our Zentangle project. So just wanted to have a video for you guys to kind of follow along with. Hopefully it will help you to stay on task, but you can always email me, use your stream on Google Classroom and also our Remind app and ask any kind of questions. And then also, if it becomes where it's a little bit too difficult, then what we can do is we could set up a Zoom meeting where we can kind of talk about each project, and maybe I can help you personally by viewing on your screen to see if I can help you. But pick each other's brains, make sure that you're utilizing your classmates to kind of help you out with some things. So we've got some great people in our class that can move around Photoshop pretty well. So don't hesitate to ask for a little bit of help, okay? So right here, you should be able to see my Photoshop screen, and here is our Zentangle. Most of you are ahead of this process, but in case you're not quite sure, I'm going to go over it first, the first couple of steps. Believe it or not, you know a lot of tools in Photoshop so far. So you know how to change your foreground colors, right? You know that this is your background color and you can change it. Always have your levels up. So, you know how to use the shape tools and stuff. So, also the content awareness and the spot healing brush tool. There's a lot of things that you're very familiar with. So, to help you kind of complete this project. So, very first thing, in case maybe you were a little bit lost or you're just starting on this Zentangle, this is what I will need you to start with. So, the moment that you open up your image, make sure that you're cropping that image so all you see is your entire drawing, okay, your entire sketch. You can drag down each little corner, okay, to kind of frame out your image like you would like, all right? So make sure there's no background. You can also use the straightener tool to actually make sure that your image is completely straight. Now, I can get diagonals if I wanted to, but I can also hold down my shift key, and that'll make sure that that line is completely straight. As you can tell, it kind of straightened my image a little bit more. If I like the way it looks, all I do is hit enter, and boom, we have a very straight image here, okay? Very simple. What we're trying to do is to get this image to become more black and white and to hide some of our pencil drawings or shadings that we might have on our canvas. So very first thing you're going to do is go up to the very top, which we all should know this is called our menu bar. If you ever lose any of these panels here, you always go to Windows, and here is where all the list of your panels are. So just FYI, if your whole desktop or your whole program starts to look really weird or you lose stuff and you don't know where it is, go to your workspace. Workspace is right here. Click on your workspace and make sure you say it's the essential, okay? And you can also say, hey, I've really messed everything up, so let's just reset it. So that way it'll open right back up. So first thing, picture, we've straightened it. We have cropped out the areas that maybe we didn't want. And now we're going to image. And you're going to play with auto tone and your contrast and your color. Most of you will see that once you do auto tone, it will actually brighten up that image and it will be something that you'll be happy with, okay? Once you're going to do that, we're going to do a non-destructive way to add some different levels and gradients so we can take out some of these smudgy looking areas here, okay? So if you want to go up to your windows and go to your adjustment panel, this is our non-destructive way to add an adjustment. So the first thing that I'm going to play with is my brightness and my contrast. I know this is non-destructive because it's given me this layer here on top, so I can throw it away if I do something that I really do not like. But from here, I'm going to play with these toggle switches to brighten up the background and to also enhance those colors. So you can see it kind of brightened it up. It also got rid of some of those backgrounds there. Okay. I'll close that out. And then after I do that, then I can move down and pick any of these other adjustments, okay? I personally wouldn't do all of them. And I would probably only choose, to do maybe 3 of them, because if you do a little bit too much, then it could actually mess up your images some. So I can play with all these toggle switches to actually try to enhance this image some. Okay. So just dragging all of the color out for this particular image. Okay, well, I'm done. I'll just close that. So now I got a pretty much brighten image. I've gotten some of the line work out here. Okay, if I hold down my space bar, and that'll actually let me scroll. So I still see a little bit of this background that maybe I want to get out. So what I can do is I'm going to take this panel. I'm just going to stick it right there so it's kind of out of my way. But there's several things that I want to show you from here. So there are these kind of lines that I'm going to show you how to get out of, to get rid of them. But let's just say there's certain areas that as you were drawing, you made a mistake or didn't really like the way something come out, So what we can do is we can actually get rid of those. So main thing, you definitely want to make sure that you're on your original layer and you're not on any of these adjustment, non-destructive layers, but you want to be on your main layer. From here, we're going to use like our spot healing brush, okay? Up here on the option bar, I'm able to change with that spot healing brush for the size of it, how hard of an outline I'm going to get, or how soft I'm going to get, okay? So I usually like to keep my healing brush at a very low hardness, so that way I don't get any very strong lines. But basically your spot healing brush, once I have that, I can hit enter and it'll get rid of that tab. But the spot healing brush, what it's going to do is take areas that are around it and actually copy it, so it'll kind of make it look like the area that it's selecting around it. So let's just say this little line right here I didn't really want. I don't know exactly what it is. So I could paint right over that line, and boom, it's going to get rid of it. Okay. All right. So I want you to go around your canvas and find areas that you go, I didn't really like that. Take your spot healing brush and get rid of those things. Okay. Get rid of the ones that you weren't very happy with or you needed to remove. All right. For these lines right here, sometimes it'll do a pretty good job and sometimes it won't, because ultimately these lines are everywhere. But you can definitely use that healing brush to kind of get rid of those lines for you. Okay. If your computer starts to chug and it looks like it's not handling some of these tools as fast as you think it needs to be, make sure you go up to your image and say image size. Make sure that they're all joined, and then you can change the size of your image. So right now, this image is 42 by 50. I definitely don't need it that big, but the resolution's on at 72. As long as these 3 are connected, I can change this to 300. Okay, if you open this dialog box underneath your image and image size and you only see the width and the height link, you cannot change the 72 because it's going to distort your image. So make sure you have that unclicked. You're hitting 300. Now it's going to put my canvas a little bit smaller, a little bit more manageable. So I'm going to say 10 by 12. Say okay. And don't see a lot of changes because the resolution I increased and the size decreased to make that image still sharp, but that should help your computer from kind of chugging a little bit. So, all right. So the other tool that you can use is also the patch tool. Okay. So the patch tool works as if it takes a certain section that I can actually draw it out. Okay. Right? It gives me these marquees, which are known as the marching ants. And then I can drag this whatever direction I would like to take that particular area and erase it with something that's on the side of it. So maybe I don't like his lips. I could drag this to another section to get rid of his lips. Okay. So we do it that way. Control D gets rid of that. Okay. Also remember to always work with your history panel, okay, because that could give certain tasks back if you decide you don't like them. Okay. You have your settings up here that'll allow you to do different things as well. Okay. But also you have your content awareness tool, which will, depending on your settings up here in your option bar, will let you do a couple of different things as well. So I can say, hey, I really want this particular image, okay? And instead of saying move, okay, if I say my mode is moved, it'll actually move that piece, okay? I hit edit, and it's gonna take that section and move it down here, okay? But let's say that I like this, I just need more of this area, then I'm going to actually say extend, and it is going to copy and paste that, hit my enter button. I'm going to do Control D, which is a deselect, and it will move that to another area. So I decide that this wonderful sketch really could use a couple of different eyes. I could do that very simply. Okay. All right. So depending on what your mode setting is, will either let you replace that certain area, or it will let you copy that area somewhere else. Okay. So this is nothing new and this is nothing different that we've been playing with, but I just wanted to kind of do a review in case you did not follow along or you are a little bit behind on things. So basically taking out things that you don't want, adding duplicates. Maybe you didn't put that great of details in some of these little shapes here, so you can add more along your canvas. Maybe you want to change it up a little bit. You have that option. Now, I also want to show you back to your liquify tool. I know that we attempted to do this in class, but the computer's kind of chugged. So just to demonstrate, you have all of this. You see how it popped this up in a whole different window? Where along the sides here, what I can do is I can actually enhance certain things. So I have all of these settings right here that will allow, just like before, the size of my brush, the dimension and stuff, the radius. But what this basically does, it will allow me to enhance or change some of the settings or some of my image without actually having to go back in and draw. So if your proportion isn't right, or maybe your chin is not as long as you wanted to, or doesn't stick out as bad, this is a way that you can change it. So if you can see, I can just click on it and it will bow out that particular section. Okay, let's say I really want him to have a more defined chin. Okay, I could do it that way if I wanted to. Remember, Control Z will get rid of all of the work that you've done. You also have push to the left. So this will allow you to push out a certain section of your drawing. Okay. You also have all of these different features, okay, that will allow you to do something different. Squeeze it in. Okay. You can also do really wild things like twisting things up. Okay. This would work if I wanted to tilt his head a little bit more. I could do so. All right. So if you're able to do that, then you could definitely play with this setting. And once you're completely happy, you just say okay. And then it'll kind of change it up a little bit. So that is how to prepare your image to start adding color to it. Okay. So I am actually going to give you another video that will explain how we're going to add color and why we should choose some layers.